Mabuhay!
Ako po si JL.
I'm Jello.
Hey, it's your boy Nate.
Yo guys, I'm Mickey.
I'm Akira.
And we are
BGYO.
What's up, guys? I'm so happy to have you guys here for our interview.
Thank you for
So,
having
first of all, I wanted to know about what your name came from. Where does BGYO come from, and what does it say about your group?
Oh, the head of BGYO, Direct Lauren, wanted us to have a strong sounding name, so he came up with BGYO. So every letter in BGYO has a meaning. B stands for becoming the change. G stands for going further. Y, you and I, showing the world what it means to be O, originally Filipino.
Awesome. And I understand that getting into a boy brand is a extremely difficult and competitive process. And I was really curious to see what each of your personal journeys was like in order to get to such a high position.
For me, I was originally an actor before. So I didn't expect my life to be part of a boy band or a P-pop group. Then yeah, somebody called me that there's an audition, and I wasn't so sure if that audition is for acting or for something or ano. So I just auditioned, and luckily I advanced to levels and yeah, get past through the challenges and everything. Then yeah, I'm here right now. I'm a P-pop idol.
Nice.
For me, I was just a regular high school student before, and then I tried to learn how to write songs and rap, and then yeah, I wasn't really good at it, but my friend's manager just told me to send a video because they said are looking for rappers, and then I just sent a video, and then yeah, I just auditioned, and then here we go.
I've always enjoyed being on stage. Since I was 6 years old, I started. I've been dancing, competitively and professionally. So it's been like 13 years. Suddenly, somebody calls, and they're like, "Oh, I need you to audition," and it's the same place where Kuya Aki, Kuya is big brother, so my big brother Aki audition, and other than that, I did Justin Bieber Purpose Tour. I was his backup dancer, and I did World of Dance and Dance Kids, but that's locally in Philippines. So mostly dance, yeah. Yeah, same with Nate. Before BGYO, I was a competitive dancer locally and internationally. I do ballroom hip hop. Then there was one night, a friend from the dance community messaged me and said, "Do you want to audition for this? Like tomorrow, the next day?" Like he messaged me 3 a.m. Then I thought that I'm gonna audition for a backup dancer. So I was like, okay, go. It's the money. Then when I went there, I was with JL. So, we were together there in the venue, special auditions. Then on that day, they asked me, okay, this is a boy group. Yeah, so for how many years? And I'm here already.
For me, before I joined here, I'm jo- I'm joining a singing contest before, but I don't have like dancing skills before, and I don't know how to dance before. But my friend called me, yeah, like Jello called me. There's audition here in Star Hunt. Then I tried to audition, but I don't know what the project is. But the boss said it's a boy group and it's a long-term project. Then yeah, now I'm a member of BGYO.
Yeah. So it seems as if there's a lot of mixture of talent in your group. It's something that really stands out to me. And I was really curious about your inspirations, both from a dancing standpoint and from a musical standpoint as well. So if there are any names that really pop up in each of your heads as some performers, some musicians that really inspired you and your own distinct styles, I'd love for you to share them with me.
For me personally, dance wise, performance wise, an inspiration is our coach, local coach, Coach Lian. He's from a a dance group in Philippines, TPM, and then also internationally, since I started dancing, Brian Puspos. I think a lot of people know Brian Puspos, Keone Madrid, and singing wise, I've only grown like my interest in singers here. So the ones who got me interested in singing are BTS, especially Jungkook. Then after that, now taste like listening, Steve Lacy, and yeah,
He was literally
oh,
just here. Yeah, I
yeah,
had a bunch of friends see him in concert. Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah,
wow, yeah,
he's
yeah. Those
really
are
cool.
my
Yeah.
interests.
For me, I'm more of a singer. So dancing is I'm not really into dancing before, but who inspired me to like singing is my mom because she's a singer before in Japan, and also my dad. My dad is a like a singer in a band, like the guitars and drums and everything before. But yeah, singers. My inspiration when it comes to singers are Ed Sheeran, Shawn Mendes, and Bruno Mars. But in dancing, our coaches, like Nate says, Coach Lian, Coach Adam, Coach Raden, and TPM. Sorry, but there.
For me, one of my biggest inspirations is BTS when it comes to dancing and singing. For dancing, I really look up to Jimin from BTS, and in singing, I look up to Justin Bieber. Both of them really inspired me in what I do right now. So yeah, including our local coaches also, of course, like Coach Lee and everything. Thank you.
Um, I started off as a dancer, and I'm I was inspired by my sister. When I grew up, I always watch her performances, and that's why I started as a dancer. then in performing, I'm inspired by a lot of K-pop groups like BTS, NCT, and many more, and foreign artists like Chris Brown, Lana Del Rey, and many more. Yeah.
For me, my family introduced me into music. My almost all of my family are singers, and then usually I'm listening. One of my inspirations are uh, Arthur Neri,
James Arthur.
uh, Zach Tabudlo,
Local artists.
yeah, local artists. But internationally, I'm listening to Sam Smith, Joji, Brian McKnight, and many more.
Mhm. Yeah, it's really cool how you guys have a very sort of international range of inspirations, you know. But one thing that I'm really curious about is what makes P-pop different from K-pop and P-pop different from some of the Western boy bands here, like One Direction and NSYNC. Like, what makes P-pop stand out, in your opinion?
Aside from like boy bands in US, K-pop and J-pop, I think it's the background and the way we write our songs. Of course, P-pop is Filipino, so we have the Filipino language, but we also have the struggles, the culture, up to the little details like our costume and our debut single, "The Light." We wore something that really means a lot to Filipino culture, and also in our music video for "The Baddest," there's a symbol which is Bakunawa. Yeah, it's a dragon. Yeah, a myth, a mythical creature uh, from the Filipino culture.
Awesome. And also, could you tell me a little bit more about your relationship with some of the other artists within the Filipino musical landscape? Like I remember I read somewhere one of your recent performances was with Beanie, which is a P-pop girl group. And I would just love for you to talk about what your experiences are like working with these Filipino artists as well.
Oh, since we're from ABS-CBN, it's a company here in the Philippines. It's a part of TV in the Philippines. Then we get to perform with different artists, big local artists here in the Philippines, and it's so inspiring to be with them. And we also share thoughts about stuff like creative stuff, artistic sides of us, and we learn from them. Um, we make them our inspiration.
Mm.
Beanie is our sister group. We trained for like 2 years or almost 3 years. We were together training, and then yeah, we debuted in the same year, right?
Same
Yeah, same year, and yeah, our relationship is really like brother and sisters.
Right. And also just being such a beacon of the Filipino music industry. You guys are called the aces of P-pop. Do you guys feel any pressure sort of being on that sort of elevated role? Like how do you deal with that? Like what sort of responsibilities do you guys have?
Okay. Well, the pressure of being called aces of P-pop to us is it's very heavy, of course, because that's us being aces of P-pop. But the things we carry in our mind before we step on the stage is like, oh, we gotta top the last performance. It doesn't matter if the last performance was crazy good. We always have to do something better, and we're always sometimes we're very nervous with performances because it's like, oh, is this really better than the last performance? And usually the aces of P-pop, in my mind, would always give something new to the aces, the supporters, and they would always look at each performance like, wow, nobody can top this. And they always see something leveling up. So I guess the struggle and the nervousness and pressure you feel from being the aces of P-pop is leveling up.
And like how do you deal with that sort of pressure and struggle? You know, what are some ways that makes you, keep your mind off of the stress, you know?
I guess we have our own ways, but a good way, a simple way is working together. We train together always, and in our class rehearsals, we always like we motivate each other, and we watch other P-pop groups stuff, and we're like, wow, so this is where we're at now. We use each other's energy, and we put that into our training to focus more and push each other more.
Yeah.
Mm. And could you tell me a little bit more about your fan base as well? You said that we're called the Aces, right?
Yes.
What are some like traditions and cultures and stuff like that that they really bring to the table? Like, what's your relationship with them like?
Okay.
Uh,
Do you wanna go?
it's very similar to K-pop fans, but they're Filipinos, obviously. Um, we keep us close to them as much as possible. Like we want to have a good bonding with them, like whether it's live streaming, fan events, performances, and we make sure that we let them feel the love from us.
Awesome. And also another thing that I'm very curious about as well is I also read somewhere that all five of you guys are full-time students, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
how do you kind of deal with living such an intense life as a P-pop idol and keeping up with your studies?
Uh, Actually, our management is helping us with the schedule. So it's
No conflict.
there's communication with the management in the school, so they can arrange the conflicts on the time. For example, if we have a big event, then they can talk to the school. If we have an exam, they will tell our management that we have an exam. So there's no conflict in schedules. The management is helping us through our schools and through our time. Yeah.
So yeah, the management helps us with time management when it comes to conflicts in schedules with big events and classes. So yeah.
And also, just kind of curious now, because you guys have sort of ascended to more of an international reach. You guys have been performing overseas and everything like that. What has been the difference between performing domestically and internationally, or even performing to a domestic audience and performing to an international audience? What is that like for you guys?
It's always a given that the international audience is much quieter or much less than our local audience because we're just starting. It's our first time going to like Vegas, US. It's gonna be our
Mhm.
first time. So you always have to start from zero or you have to start somewhere that's not where you are locally. So the difference is here where I would say we're known and we're very welcome because this is our blood and this is our country. So people will always be like, wow, we should watch them, even if we don't know them. But here, but in the international places like Vegas, it'll be it'll be harder. I feel like it'll be harder to reach the audience because
Mhm.
well, a lot of our songs have the Filipino language, so
Mhm.
of course English speakers will not get pulled in right away. It
Yeah,
depends. So it'll be much harder, and yeah, it'll be very awkward with the language barrier, but we'll try our best.
gotcha. And also, I hear that you guys are releasing a new album within the next couple of weeks. Could you tell me a little bit more about what that's going to be like? Not going into details, but how is your sound and how is your style going to evolve with this new album?
Well, for this next album, it's really different from what we released last year, from our previous album. For this album, we really experimented with our sound, and we went further, and we gave our best in giving the song what it really needs. So yeah.
Yeah. Other aside
Oh yeah,
from the
the title of our album is Be Us, and we wanted to say that to win, we must stay true to ourselves, come together, and just be us. Yeah.
Awesome. And where did you find inspirations for this new sound that you guys alluded to? Were there any sort of artists or music that you listened to that really pushed you in a new direction? Were there any experiences that really influenced the content of your music? Should also, yeah.
I think the inspirations it's also involving the management. So we can't say the exact inspiration because it's all a collective thoughts from members to the management. But there are certain concepts and scenes in the music videos, like there's a key in a door, and inside us, or we ourselves are the key to that door, and we're struggling to figure out how to get through that door, but we have to figure out that it's ourselves all this time. So that's one of the concepts in one of the music videos, and that's one of the inspirations for this album.
Gotcha. And looking into the future too, starting with just people and artists that you want to work with, who are some of your dream collaborations, dead or alive too? Like if you could like pick any artist within all of music, who would you want to work with and why?
Gonna dream big. BTS and Ed Sheeran and Shawn Mendes. You know.
For me, same with Aki. I like to someday collaborate with BTS and Justin Bieber.
Steve Lacy.
I think since we're a group, I think it's nice if we could collaborate with famous girl pop stars in the US like Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift, and yeah, many more.
For me, BTS and Blackpink.
Yeah.
Mm. And also, just in terms from a musical standpoint, what are some new styles of music? Like, are there any new styles of music that you want to incorporate in your music going on into the future? Like, because I feel like your sound is always changing and evolving. And what sort of new genres or new instruments do you want to include in some of your new music, going into the future?
Personally, there's this artist, I don't know how to say it. I can't remember exactly the pronunciation. Pink Panthers?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of instruments in her music, and it's very upbeat, it's very fast, but then her vocals are very soft and slow. So I think something like that for us, it doesn't have to be a whole album, but a song or something for them to hear would be very nice.
For me, I think it would be cool if we try hip hop or more ballad songs also.
Mm.
Yeah.
Personally, I want us to explore music and like Afro beats and like dance hall, or I want to explore if you know Rom Gold, like his
Yeah.
music is interesting, so I want that.
Yeah, the drum patterns are really, really different in Afrobeat. I feel like that'd be really cool to sort of have that combination. Yeah. So in terms of, going back to this idea of being the aces of P-pop, do you see yourself in almost like a mentorship role, but with younger artists as well? And if so, do you have any sort of pieces of advice that you'd give to them, or just any aspiring artists in the Philippines?
I think I see BGYO. I don't see BGYO as the only mentors because we also have senior We have a
Right.
senior SB19, and as the community gets together, we kind of teach each other new things. So we're all teaching each other. There's no one mentor, but if there was advice for people coming up or a group coming up or younger ones, I think it would be that self-practice isn't a joke, and that the discipline you teach yourself will take you a very long way, and how much discipline you put in yourself will also measure your success.
And also, you mentioned that there was a predecessor group as well, right? I'm curious as to like what are some of the most important lessons that you've taken from Filipino artists in the past that you take with you in your performances and your style? It could be anything from musical things to even just like, you know, even like mantras and ways in which you guys go about your practicing and stuff like that.
Oh, what we observe from like famous artists here in the Philippines is that almost everyone is humble. And I remember one time one of our Korean coaches told us that there's always one person better than you, so you don't have to be you shouldn't be complacent.
Mm,
And when it comes to being in a group like a P-pop group, BGYO, a very big part of this group is thinking. Like, I have to think about the long run. Like, there's one artist, he's a legend. His name is Tito Gary V, and a lot of things he does, it's very like he thinks about it first, like, oh, will this affect my body, or will I get injured from this, or will this hurt my injury more and make my performance worse? So it's always about like, am I safe? Is it worth it? And will this impress the people? And will I have fun? So there's a lot of aspects to doing things and health things.
The intention.
And also, patience is a virtue. So, yeah, you need to be patient because it's not just one snap, then you're at your goal. So you need to be patient and work hard to reach your goal.
I guess just wrapping up this interview, is there anything else that you guys want to say to the fans?
We'll see you all. Asap natin to Las Vegas, November 5, 2022. The gates open at 4 p.m. and the show starts at 6 p.m. US time.
Yes, for tickets and more information, please visit mytfc.com ASAP in Vegas.
This is at the Orleans Arena. See you there.